Hello and welcome to the Quality Coding stream on a non-standard streaming day. I normally stream on Saturdays, but I've got the day off, so I thought, why not? Greetings, Mud Shark, on this nice Monday evening for you, an hour earlier. And other folks trickle in over time. It's kind of funny to notice that the viewer count kind of goes up gradually, reaches its peak towards the end of our hour. Well, hello. ULSC from Amsterdam. I'm always glad to hear from a new person, and or at least your first time to say hello. Welcome to the stream. Very excited. I was in Amsterdam when the pandemic broke out, and really want to get back. It was so good. Like literally, my wife and I were in a coffee shop when they said, you can't order anything except what's already here because we're shutting the kitchen because the inspectors are coming to close us down. So we had our last delicious cup of coffee. Curious about your content, following you for a while. Well, welcome. Let's see where this goes, and you'll see if it's interesting or not. But glad to have you, even and anyone else who, even if you're here for only 5 minutes, always glad to have you. Hope you come away with something. I always come away with stuff, which is one of the best things for me about doing this chat. Another great thing is being able to meet people from around the world. Another sort of funny random observation about my content and this stream is how I think that folks in the US are less interested and folks in Europe and elsewhere more interested. And I think this is an observation I've had before, is that I think that people outside of the US are more inclined to lean in to the to experimenting and trying different things and seeing if you can if they can improve their coding practices, their discipline. They're more serious about the craft, I think. Why is that? I don't know. But I'm glad to have you. Oh, there are a few more folks who have joined. Welcome. Do say hello. Even if you're here for only, you're just lurking. Hey, Alex. Alex FS Layer. And another great wow. Look at this. We got some folks here. So Satral, hello John, I am Sahil from Sangli, India. I don't know where Sangli is. Joining your stream for the first time. Awesome. This was one of my experiments, was to shift this an hour earlier to see if it might be a little more accommodating for folks in India. Because right now, isn't it, it's just past 10:30 in India, I believe. Sangli, where's Sangli? Let's find out. Where's Sangli? I want to know. Sangli, there we are. Like I don't have an idea yet. Oh, there comes the coast. Okay. Now I see where it is. It's not close to Mumbai, but it is for me. It's kind of like folks who look at the U.S. map who say, "Oh, you're John Reed is in California. That must be close to, you know, something else." India, such a big and wonderful place. Great to have you. Um, other, yeah, ULSC. It may be about the hustle culture. I think you're right. As far as like why the United States doesn't get into improving their practices more. Hustle, hustle, get it done. And maybe folks from elsewhere are more thoughtful about, well, also maybe a little less, well, I don't know. We could contemplate a bunch of reasons, and I'm a weirdo US citizen in that I am not born and raised. I was not born and raised in the United States. I was born and raised in Japan. And so for me, the US is still kind of a funny, odd place. And Marco Eidinger, hi, I live in the US in San Jose. Right where I am. Hey, Marco. That is, in case you didn't know, that's where I am, is in San Jose, California. But from Germany, so yeah, you understand culture. Rick Lowe. Oh my gosh, there are 10 folks here. Well, let me repeat my my hello message, just so folks joining get the nudge to say hello. Where are you? Rick, good to have you as always. A little earlier for you, and glad you could make it. Yeah, yeah, yep. Cool. Keep those comments coming, and for folks who are joining for the first time, first, welcome. My name is John Reed. Hey, neighbor. And I am a coach and trainer at Industrial Logic, as well as having my site. But working at Industrial Logic as a full-time coach is a dream come true. It's kind of been my journey and it's finally culminated in doing this for a living. And let's see. Oh, so a couple more things, details about the stream. I'm going to be coding here in just a minute, but you are more than welcome to chime in with any observations, any questions about what you see, like why did you do that thing right there, or what even is this commit notation, or even unrelated, just because you have my attention. If you want to ask me something, more than happy to spend a little time on that. And let's go over to our discovery tree. This is where I am keeping track and visualizing the work that we are doing. It is a tree of tasks, basically, or goals. The root is that I want to provide a Swift Package Manager version of my tool, View Controller Presentation SPY, but it's in 2 languages right now. It's mixed, Objective-C and Swift. Swift Package Manager doesn't accommodate that, so got to shift over to 1 language, which will be Swift. There are 3 verifiers in this thing. We are working on the biggest and hardest one. The last 2 will be easy, hopefully. And we've been swizzling, converting, especially swizzling stuff from Objective-C to Swift. And we are working on UI View Controller, swizzling that does the alert parts got a bunch of other things. This whole tree idea, if you come to our blog, you will see the latest post is a wonderful new post by my colleague Steve Quo, on working with discovery trees. By the way, here in Mural, you can hold C and drag from one sticker to another, and it will make an arrow automatically? Oh, thank you. I've been needing this. Thank you so much. We will be using this more, and of course, I will use it if well, the last discovery tree I did wasn't in Mural; it was in Miro, M-I-R-O, for a client. But the one of the most important parts of a discovery tree is not just visualizing the work, but focusing the team. In this case, it's focusing my attention from week to week, as like I do this and then I step away for a week and then I come back and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. And this tree really helped. But even more importantly for a team, to say, what are we working on? And let's limit our work in progress. Let's focus on delivering something, the most important thing. And let's take the steps. Swift Package Manager supports mixed languages, but separate targets are needed. I'm not aware of that. So I may have to look that up. Because my thought was that, or my idea was that it had to be one language or another. It's been kind of fun, and maybe it's silly for me to put out. You can get OC Makito, my mocking library, in through Swift Package Manager. It's kind of funny since it has 0 Swift in it. But Marco, I'll have to look at that. So as we work on this, let's see. We were working on presenting. Oh, the key here is yellow is to do, blue is in progress, and green is done. So it's easy even to zoom out and say, oh, let's see, to follow the in progress stuff, we just sort of come down here. Okay, so here we are. We did this. There's nothing in progress. This will be the next thing, whatever it is. And how small should these be? According to the blog post, Steve Quo writes that their tasks could be as big as 1 day or as small as 5 minutes. Me, I was leaning extra hard into making it, like seeing how small I could make it. Probably too small, but it was a good learning thing for me. And in fact, these parts probably ought to just become a checklist. So let me do this. This is, whoops, this is a, I don't need these anymore. Right? The nice thing about using a lightweight system like this instead of a ticketing system is that it's easy to change. It's easy to make a new thing. You don't have to fill out a bunch of stuff. You just make a post-it and draw some lines. But in this case, I can also say, well, let's make a checklist. Like, something like this. Extract Marco, I'm sorry. Um, since you're new here, I've got a thing that bans folks from posting links because I got some junk. Um, why don't you type it in like without the HTTPS? Just copy the address and that should go through after you get over your being timed out. Oh, it's only for 5 seconds. And then of course, I'll adjust my bot to say I trust these people. So extract objective C part, write Swift version. There was some more in here that I remember. Annotate as obc and public. Darn it. Marco, I apologize. Maybe I can. I'd have to find Nightbot. Oh, here it is. Oh, good grief. I'd have to go back to Nightbot. Darn it, darn it, darn it. I'm sorry. uh, let me just try to do this real fast. Oh, good grief. Dashboard. Like, okay. Well, at least I can see your comments in here, but no one else can, so that's not good. Regulars. Add user. I think this will do it. Hopefully it'll let you post now. And then I'll have to go back and adjust that. Annotate as obc and public. This is a step that I forgot our last time. So these are my steps here. And I think with these steps, I don't feel a need to call these out on every single time I do this. So let's see if this works. I'm actually I'll leave those there for now. So we've got two things: make a closure container and whatever's left. That sounds sort of peculiar. All right, this, let's go over to the Swift. Hopefully you can, oh shoot, sorry, this is too small. This is the wrong theme. I forgot to set this. Make it go for Xcode dark. There we go. Now you should be able to see it. Marco, do see if you can try posting again. I apologize for that. And if you can't, at least I know that I can see your messages in my bot, and I'll still get it. So view controller to present. Okay, so this is our view controller to present thing that we did last time, which is all we had here. So I'm going to delete that. Oh, before we start, run tests. Always start with passing tests. And we try to stay out of red. All right, so let's see what's next. So this is the portion, this is the method that we're trying to move to Swift. And what I did last time was extract, because it was too long, I extracted just one part and then converted that Objective-C to Swift and then called it. And that worked out well. Oh, I should share with you. That came from, I realized that that is, where's the search on here? Isolate. Here we go. I realized that it is a particular example of a refactoring pattern that Bill Wake describes here. Isolate, improve, and inline. That's basically what we're doing. I isolated it by extracting it. I improved it by shifting it over to a different language. Later on, I'm probably going to inline it. And hello to Noto Goose 2. And hey, Janos. Welcome back, folks. Those who haven't been here in a while, awesome. Uli, great to have you. So looking at what's left, I had like this closure thing, but that's just one line. I isolated. Oh, good grief. Nice joke. Converting one line, is that worth it? I only have 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. But maybe I will, just to get some practice with this technique. Let's do this. Let me, even if it's ridiculous, it's not entirely ridiculous, but let's try. Let me do it with a small, actually, let me take these two lines together. Right? This one is already in Swift. This one we can't do, I don't want to do anything about because it's a guard clause. And so that will come over separately. So let me take these two lines and call them, I don't know what. Let's check the, that looks good. Let's give it a get container completion. It's kind of unfair that it's doing two things and I'm having to name it here. But I'll just continue. All right, so that's extraction. Actually, even before we did this, I already made a change, right? Let me go back here. I've already made a change, and that was a silly change, but test pass. Silly, not entirely silly. All I did was remove some code, a commented out code. So let me note that using Arlo's commit notation, which I have updated and I keep learning more about from the folks who actually make this. So this is really a developer visible documentation. A new change in the commit notation is to make the beginning 3 characters always, so that the annotation always lines up. Easier to parse the commit messages in a tool afterwards. So this is remove remove that, and let's do that. Okay, next, let's extract these. I'm going to say get closure container, extract that. And this is a something I'm learning to refine. As far as the whole purpose of the commit notation is to describe the risk of the change. And I'm learning to refine my refactoring. Here you can see there are 3 levels of risk. There's actually a 4th level, which would be doing something that's not really refactoring, what most people call refactoring, which it would be like rewriting stuff. I just did an automated refactoring extract method. So all I have to do is say R extract method. And I want to identify the name of the refactoring. I call it out by name. All right, so that's in. So now let us see if we can't now start the going down our checklist here. Oh, this is in progress. Here we go. Whatever's left is going to be the guard clause. I'll just leave that alone for now. So this is what we're working on. Extract the Objective-C part. Can you see that? Let me make that bigger. That should be a little bigger. Write the Swift version. Here we go. So over on the Swift side, as I like to do, slap it down so that I can see it. And let's now start doing it. And I will start off the bat by declaring it as I've failed to do. Obj-C public. And let's just be very literal about this. You control it to present, that'll be the same as that. And completion. This is gonna be can it be nil? It is nullable. Yeah, I want to be careful here. It is nullable. This is a bug that I have filed with app code that this really ought to have shown that included the nullable notation in here, which I can't see, but so it is an optional. So this is going to be a completion handler that takes nothing and does something, It returns nothing. It just does stuff. And all this to return a closure container, except with the Swift name. It should work with nullable? Interesting. Let me keep going, and then we'll try that as an experiment. All right, let's start copying these lines out. Load view if needed. And then make a closure container that takes the completion block there and returns it. Right, so this way you're declaring you may not send a closure at all. Yeah, that but that's what I need, right? Is that there may or may not be a closure there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's why it needs to be nullable. In any case, it worked out well because the closure container itself takes an optional. Well, we'll see. Let me keep blazing on. So I see no red, but I'm going to build. All right. Back to our checklist here. Okay, so next thing is to switch to calling it. So now I should be able to say get closure container and blah, blah, blah. Actually, let me first note this. Get rid of this, and this is going to be really it's I've done a refactoring that I haven't proven anything about. So it's R bang bang. Version of I'm chuckling at you, Uli. I know. We'll get to naming and stuff. Heck, I think I'm gonna inline all this stuff anyway, so we'll see. We'll see about the name. It may go away. All right, so now let's see if we can switch to it, where we have the call to get closure container. Let's now do, oh shoot. Well, maybe the Swift name is different. But let me try and see if it comes up with something. There we go. Normally I try to name the new thing something something 2 so that the names don't clash. But in this case, I forgot, but I got lucky. So let's keep going. Right, so here we are. I am now shifting from calling the Objective-C version to calling the Swift version. And now it's time for tests. Test pass. Awesome. So this is a test-supported refactoring. Not as risky as R bang bang, but more risky than lowercase r. And what's left? Removing the old version. So now this is not called. So let me do this in steps. Deleting this is safe. Love what you did with the default commit message. You mean my template there? Let me share that template. Yeah. Let me share that with you. That would be a nice feature if we could switch between templates easily. But you can set this inside of any, your particular repo to set the template. So that's the template that I am using. All right, remove the old. I think that's what we're doing. Okay, so I deleted a line. I deleted a dead line. It was commented out code. So I'm going to call this approvable refactoring. Oh, R, I'm learning instead of R, it's just to make it 3 characters. Thank you. The dash. And now this code is dead. And I'm going to do a deletion on it. And this also. Is automated. So the nice thing about having this annotation, hopefully you can see that. It's a little small, but if you look over the history, we've got 2 very safe moves, 1 pretty safe move, 1 riskier move. Very safe. And then stuff about, that's just documentation. So the closer I can get to lowercase r, the less review it needs. If it's got a bang bang, then the more eyes it needs. And in particular, if there's a problem discovered after the fact, like say a bug is discovered, then the most obvious candidates are things that are bang bang or star star. Star star is even worse. That's like, those are the things that may just, at the outset, they may be broken. So huge fan of JetBrains IDEs, but developing UI for iOS apps with app code is just painful. Do you mean Swift UI? Because you don't have the preview? Arr. Also, it's like coding like a pirate, right? All right. And is there anything else? Renaming. I'm not sure that I need to rename. It's probably good enough. So now this is down to just a guard clause and a couple of things that are already in Swift. I feel like I'm ready now to shift this over. By the way, Why move in such small steps and commit? Why microcommits? And the answer is that smaller changes, smaller changes are easier to review, and they're easier to merge. In fact, you don't even need a PR. I don't need, if something is lowercase r, I'm sorry, it was an automated change that's still built. Sometimes automated refactorings aren't correct, but I've never seen a case where the automation failed and it still built and ran tests. So yes, with Swift UI, not only about the preview, you just have to rebuild every time to see something. There are actually ways around that. But that said, I'm working with Swift UI for the first time, and certainly I think it's easier with Xcode. I don't mind shifting between IDEs. Like, I use Xcode, not as much as most people, but for example, with storyboards, you have to use Xcode. And I do not mind shifting to Xcode when I need it. But that said, if you want to use app code, you might check out this thing from about Swift UI, because they have, I think it's in here. Yes, they have instructions for how you can have previews that will show using injection 3. Injection to get dynamic previews as you code. So it takes a little more work, but you can have it both ways if you want to. I was aware that storyboards kind of broke GUI designer support and app code, but I kind of expected did have at least have live preview for Swift UI, if not the pop-up menu to directly change UI like Xcode. Yeah, so check this out. You may or may not like it. You know, it's extra steps, but it is definitely feasible. I've done it on a toy project. I've not done it in my current thing I'm building, but that's partly because I don't want to freak students out. Oh, so as far as moving in small steps, another reason for microcommits is that you get rid of this idea, like the common thing, a common reason managers fear refactoring is they're saying, it's going to take forever and you're going to break stuff. Probably because we developers have trained them to think that way by doing refactoring wrong. That by going off and saying, I'm going to refactor this, and they're like, oh no, you're taking time away from the actual work I want you to do, and you're breaking things. This gets back to real refactoring, moving in microcommits to say the changes are small. I try to automate them, and they're not going to hinder my work. In fact, it can go straight into the trunk. We don't even need PRs. So Flutter has hot reloading. Yeah. Krzysztof has a good post about how he uses injection to do hot reloading for Apple development. Yeah, it'd be nice to have it without injection. But, hey, who knows? Got any guesses on what's going to come out in DubDub? Is it in a week? 2 weeks? How far away is DubDub now? Toss your guesses in the chat. What will we see? As I can keep coding here. Because I'd like to now extract this whole thing. I'm pretty sure I am clean at the moment. Let's make sure there are no changes. Okay. All right. Oh, when it comes to WWDC, go for it, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, toss your weird thoughts about WWDC in the chat. I'm not expecting at this point. I do not expect unit testing support for Swift UI. Apple simply doesn't believe in it, which I find depressing. Yeah. There are things that they do not get. Will they someday? We don't know. Res edit? Mudshark, are you that old? All right, here we are. Let's start laying down the new thing. And we'll do this step by step. I'm going to put it up here, up above. And I'm going to interesting, it removed the public. I thought I needed that. Oh, it's public for Swift things. Wait, I thought I needed it. I'm so confused. Resourcer, holy moly, you folks are old. It looks like Swift format removed my public. Hey, I'm okay with that. Let's try it without. Here we go. It is time to do some more work. Let's try to get this work in steps. So we've got our shell working there. I am a freaking dinosaur. I started Mac coding in C++. If only we had a formatted like option has black. Not following. I've done Python. Python is a cool language, gotta say. All right, let's build this up. View controller to present. A formatter. Well, that's where really Swift format is wonderful. Okay. Our arguments look a lot like the arguments I already have here. Almost. Almost. So let me take these and I'm going to modify it. But instead of a closure container, it will take the completion closure. I'm going to slap that in here. And this should still build. Yes. So I have Swift format set up for app code. This is a fairly new thing I've done. Through a file watcher. File watcher is a plugin. I love IDE plugins. And I have it set up so that it calls Swift format when it detects that, when the watcher detects that a file has changed. I know maybe I should make a .swift format where I can put the arguments. But I'm mostly I started with just the default, except I change, excuse me. Mute. Change I made a couple of days ago was to disable unused arguments, because I got tired of these arguments disappearing on me when I'm not using them yet. So there's a Swift format with a dash. I'm not familiar with that one. Oh, that's Apple's official one. It'll be interesting. I think it'll be interesting to see if this one grows up enough that we can start using it. Nice MontyPython reference. Oh, wow. You folks are cracking me up. Let's see. Okay. Let me shrink these because they are in my way. All right. Let us introduce a guard clause. So let me just slap it in. We'll get there. Let me take ugly Objective-C. I miss the flexibility of Objective-C, but I confess that it is uglier. So let's see, how do we express this? If is kind of, here we go. This looks like what we need. And a not. I think that does it. Check me on this. So, to turn this into a guard, like a real thing that says guard, how do I do that? Can I just do that? Else, right? There. Check me. So where it used to say if the view controller to present is kind of class, make sure it's a UI alert controller. If that's not the case, return. Now in Swift, I get to say guard that the view controller to present is kind of UI alert controller, else return. That looks good. Okay, and then we should be able to call these two things. Get the closure container first. So let me call that. Actually, let me check this in. I've gone minutes now without checking something in, and that makes me nervous. I've reached the point where I miss Swift when I write in C-like languages. And yeah, oh yeah. Oh good, there is no perfect language. And for anyone watching, who has not, like all you've done is Swift, there's no shame in having done only Swift. But I encourage you to try a radically different language. I don't know how radical is. A different language. It will expand your concepts about programming. Yeah, nullability is definitely nice, isn't it? But try a language other than what you've learned. You will learn not only new things about programming, you may be exposed to some things about IDEs that you've never seen before. All right, let's keep going. I try to limit these to an hour, these my streaming sessions, but I'm eager to see this, and I don't think it'll take that long to do this. So let's see if we can't. All right, so closure container. Let's again be very literal. I'm going to say self dot get closure container and pass in view controller to present, and this is completion, and this comes out as a look at this. Look at how it suggests a name for me. Love it. And finally, send alert info. Animated, this is flag, and this is the closure container. All right, I think that does it. There's some things I can clean up in here, but there's a lot we're going to clean up. I'm feeling ready to keep going. If you have to drop off, my apologies, but I feel like I want to keep going out, well, a little longer, not too much longer. Shoot, I forgot. I have a meeting coming up with hopefully he can make it. Jitter Ted, who is a prolific streamer. He's the guy who got me live coding to begin with. He says he can help me. He may be able to help me iron out my problems with background music. So this is still in Swift, not calling yet. All right, so now let's see if we can't switch to it. Drum roll, please. Where is this called? Interesting. I'm having trouble finding where it's called. Let's. Is it called from Swift? No. Does it have a funny name? I don't think so. Finish it, he says. Da, 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 da. I'm a little puzzled because normally I can see the usages, but app code gets a little lost when things go between languages as far as finding usages goes. And it doesn't look like it has. Oh, I bet the name is different in Swift, right? It's probably QCO mock present or something like that. Let's see if we can't find it. There it is. It's in the swizzling. All right. So I think I should be able to switch this to 2. It's suggesting a different name. Or is it? I'll accept the name. I don't have to be super smart. All I have to do is run tests. It fails to build. Still not the right name. Let's try this again. Only takes a view controller? I'm puzzled about that. Takes view controller, animated, and completion. Okay, so it's probably something in this. This is one of the hardest parts of swizzling, is the naming, the capturing the naming changes. So let's get this. Maybe that 2 is throwing it off. So let's try this and see if this works. Yay. Great. Excellent progress. All right. That makes me feel good. Let's come back here to our tree. Because we did this, now we're doing this, again, working through these sections. We've now switched to calling it. And let me commit that. So this is it non-provable? No, the tests, I feel so confident in the tests that I'm okay calling this test supported. Switch swizzling. Okay, so now I should be able to get rid of the old stuff. Let's go over and do this in steps. First, that's safe. Let's go to this side of things. And this is the code. And let me safe delete it. And that has removed it from both the header and the implementation file. This is an automated change, automated refactoring. And finally, let's clean up the name a bit. Let's get rid of that 2 at least. Oh, it did get it. Okay, good. I was like, it didn't update it, but it did. All right. And this is a rename moving to. Cool. Now there's more stuff I want to do here, because I think now these, like in particular, this is, well, not this one. This is so small and the function name doesn't make sense that I want to inline it. So let me make a note for next time. Inline. And if I hold down C, was that the trick? Whoop, I have to get out of the, there we go. Look at this. Thank you so much. Lovely. And this is done. This is really to do. And that is where I will continue next time. All right. Terrific. Could I suggest some further reading about VCS features in IntelliJ-based IDEs like templates, integrations, workflows? Oh, unfortunately, I have to go. I don't know about reading. It's just stuff you have to try it, and you have to see people using it. So, if you can, rejoin on Saturday. Let me make a note of maybe let me make a note on that. If you can make it on Saturday, it would be wonderful. I'll be streaming again at the same hour on Saturday. So I'm shifting my normal streaming now an hour earlier to accommodate more folks. And that's it for today. Thank you for joining. Very nice, very clean. And hey, on Twitch, I've never asked, but subscribe if you haven't subscribed. That way you'll know when I go live. And it might even someday put a little tip from Twitch in my pocket once I get enough streams out. If you're watching this on YouTube, give it a like if you've watched this far. Do subscribe and hit the notification bell to get all stuff from me. Take care, folks. I hope to see you on Saturday. If not, come another time.